Hey, welcome back, everybody. Of course, my name is Dr. Keith McNally, and this is the Question Guy podcast. We're in season 3, and this is a special edition of the podcast. I'm here with my team. So, Shekita Jackson, Mitch Gray, and Brandon Ficara. And I think Brandon's only going with his first name now. And we're here to talk about what we did back in January. So, January 2023 was our first Emerging Leaders Conference series. So we put on an awesome event here in Suffolk, Virginia, and I've got the team back together to talk about that event. With that being said, I usually go first, but I just did my opening. So who wants to talk about what they did and how they experienced the event back in January? Goes to anybody.
I'll jump in.
Go ahead.
Hey, I beat the guys. So I'm Shekita again. So I would share that during that event, I actually spoke on collaborative leadership about finding ways to engage with other professionals or team members or just anyone outside of your circle to find better solutions to people common problems or bigger issues in society. So I love that. We started with that. I believe I talked a lot, and I then gave an example of some hard situations that communities could face in reference to different circumstances that people find themselves in, such as coming out of incarceration or low education rates or just different community needs, low food resources, food deserts, and so forth. So finding ways around the table in which different people from the communities can come in and find solutions just based off what the individual can present themselves. What each person has can build a solution for someone else. So we had a wonderful, I believe it was wonderful, example of that.
Oh, it's awesome. You gotta be kidding me. And I want to add, so looking at those two examples, there could have been a lot of different examples to choose from. I think these are heartfelt examples. Are these things that you've experienced or have seen your community experience here in Hampton?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Especially with the needs for literacy and food deserts. I've been in communities or lived in communities where there was no grocery store within 30 minutes. So having those disparities as well as the educational needs for children as well as the adults, and being people that have land and have no assistance to be able to build off their land and grow food or so forth. And just people can come together to create solutions. So that's what it was heartfelt in those avenues. So I'm excited. I was excited at that time, and I do believe that it was well received, hopefully, but I believe that it was well received. So, and then I love what my partners here presented. So in the whole, I'm satisfied.
Well, before I get to either Mitch or Brandon, I want to come back and say, I think everybody at the event who participated was there and was inspired, transformed, and really enlightened by what you had to share, Shekita, because just watching their faces and watching their experiences up close and personal, I think they were impacted by the fact that you came in and saw that this was an opportunity for you to really embrace that community, embrace that tribe, and really connect with people one-on-one because you've been there. And I know your backstory, and your backstory is part of another podcast. So I think everything you brought from the heart.
Love it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Brandon.
Yes.
Talk to me about what happened at the event.
It was so awesome that I did get rid of my last name, and now I'm just going by Brandon as a la Cher, because really after what we did in Suffolk, there's no need
no need to have a last name.
Have a last name at this point, because I'm simply Brandon, the emerging leadership guy from the Suffolk event.
Cool.
And that's too long to fit on my Zoom title. But no, first of all, Shekita's thing was awesome. I think she was being very modest, and that's kind of her style. I'm much less so, and I can shout it from the rooftops. It was a really awesome example. It got everybody connected at the event, and I thought it was just really, really cool and a really good use of time. So that kind of pulling that into my experience with the Emerging Leaders Conference. There's something special when you're in a room that has only people who are trying to better themselves and to get smarter and to get more connected. So there's always a special feeling when we're, in that kind of environment. And certainly I enjoyed it. My piece was talking about values in leadership and how they really lead to achievements and success. So that's something I could talk about for days. I talked for maybe about 45 minutes. So, I left some meat on the bone there for
You
sure.
did. You left a lot on the table. So we need to come back and really talk about how values drive leaders' behavior.
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious in both good and bad leadership, right?
Right.
Like you can see when there's an absence of values that it's usually selfish desires are driving the leadership. And that's when you get into leaders who have nothing but bad things to say about their people because they haven't done anything to, they haven't created a framework for their people to really be something more than just a button on a cash register for the leadership. And people don't like to just be buttons. We want to be full whole people, except maybe button people. Maybe I read a children's book once where the little button people, so I'm sure they liked it. But in the real world, not so much. And I think that when a leader is clear on their values and is espousing those values regularly, it allows the people they're leading to understand what their leader is going for, what the boundaries are in that environment. And it allows people to move faster, smarter, and usually with a higher degree of integrity, which I think when we're operating with a higher degree of integrity, we're always more willing to fight for whatever we're trying to do, I believe.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Well, good. I said it just to please you.
And I do appreciate that because I think your impact, along with our colleagues here, was really valuable. And again, when we were there and when I was not on the stage, I was walking around and I just felt the energy in the room. I felt the impact, the energy, and what everybody was experiencing. Again, going back, it was heartfelt. I think they were really engaged, and I was happy for that. Mitch, you did something as you always do at every event that you go to. The word is unique. You give your audience something that no other audience ever gets. And I think that's one of your qualities is you're going after that once in a lifetime experience and you want to give your audience that. What did you give our audience this time?
I have no idea. No idea. I just
You
showed
totally
up.
forget
and,
about it when I
Yes.
was there. You gave everybody
no,
a gift.
no, it yeah, you're first of all, thank you. Probably I want to say this and then come back to your point and what I hope I shared at the conference. It's been really interesting because, as a speaker, Keith, I know you've worked really hard the last 15 months to build your path as a coach, consultant, creator. Shekita's been doing this a little while. Brandon's been doing this for a long time in a variety of formats. And for those of us that were doing this before the pandemic, I think we oftentimes took for granted these interpersonal engagements. And for me, and I think I could probably speak for everyone, the last 10 to 12 months when we've had the opportunity to come back in person, there is no replication for those magical moments that you can only experience when you go to lunch together or when you go to Mod Pizza or for the first time you meet, at a train station or whatever that looks like. I've posted multiple pictures of our event and every single time I post a picture of Shekita from the event, every single person that comments is like, wow, I love those pink shoes. Like, that's what everyone said. It's like, okay, so I have about, 10 people in my life that I need to put pink
What a way
shoes
to
on the list
stand
for.
out.
Yeah, it's like, but those are the moments that you can really only, because now I think of pink high-heeled shoes and I'm going to think of Shekita every time. And that's a wonderful thing. And so my whole point to that is, to me, what I took away, not just the lessons I learned from each of you and from our attendees, by the way, but really just feeling that goodness of connection, because I think for 3 years, we just missed that. We missed those opportunities. And there was a part of me that was, so hungry and just, really wanting those connections and to meet people that, I've been talking to for a long time and have never met in person. And so, yeah, the conference, my mission was to talk about alignment and intention. And quite frankly, I shifted, I just had a gut feeling. I kept telling, especially Brandon and Keith, that was probably going to happen. That's kind of how I tend to roll. But I knew, depending on who was there in the attendance and kind of what that looked like, I wanted to be moldable and I wanted to live in the moment. I just had another podcast recording this morning, and I was sharing with the podcast host about, we missed the experience because we set up so much expectation. And for me, those moments are about only being present in that moment and releasing the attachment of expectation, which, by the way, Brandon so eloquently put when he was talking about values, about not attaching to, some of those things and just allowing the moment to be what it is. And, that's what I wanted to give everyone there. Sometimes I show up and it comes through with gifts or whatever, and sometimes it doesn't. It just is what it is. That moment will never be replicated. Yeah, it's a cool moment, when you can hopefully look into someone's heart and say, hey, you have permission to do this. Now go do it. Take action, be present, create your values, collaborate with others, share your story and your journey. And for me, being the last speaker of the day, I wanted to really put an exclamation mark on all of those essences that everyone shared. And it was really cool. It's really cool.
So I have to bring you back a month. So hopefully your memory is pretty good. Do you remember your 3-word statement that you gave to everybody?
To everyone individually or as a group?
No, when you gave your talk, you emphasized,
I'm here.
3 words.
Yeah, I'm here.
I am here.
I'm from Oklahoma, so it's 2 words. It's I'm here. So when I'm speaking, I have to remember I'm not in the South sometimes, and so I have to be. Yeah.
I think
Yes.
Virginia's in the South
Powerful.
somewhat. Yeah, I
It
think
depends on where you're from.
we're below the
Depends on where
Mason
you're from.
We're below the Mason-Dixon line.
We split it.
Split it. You're in the middle. Yeah.
But I think that really does, hit the point that I was saying. The uniqueness of your talk, the uniqueness of your message, every time, every audience gets something special. And so
100%.
it was really important for you and then your audience to recognize that right now I am here. Right now, this is what's going on in our lives. Right now, we're going to share something spectacular.
Yeah, and what's interesting as a speaker, everyone has their own style. Everyone has their own. Brandon, Shekita, and I, and you, Keith, we could be given the same speech, and it's going to come across different. Yep. For me, what I value most as a facilitator of thought, which is what I view myself as more so than a speaker, is every audience is different, and every person sitting there is at a different place in time for one reason or another. And the greatest gift I can give them is that moment. For me, my style is that moment doesn't come in a speech I've given before. Right. It comes in what is that moment. Now, the teachings and the principles stay the same, and so for that moment in time in Suffolk, Virginia on January 21st, it was very much, we're here. The people that are here are here. And this moment matters because it's the only moment we have. And though that's true every time, for me, that was the emphatic point of the day, and hopefully it provokes some thought that will inspire people forward.
And I believe it did. And so for me, it was my debut as a speaker. And so I very much looked forward to it, and I very much hated looking forward to it all the same, because you have that fear and anxiety up to the moment that you open your mouth and speak, because everything is saying this isn't going to work, and all of those things. And Mitch, you and I have talked endlessly, countlessly, over the past 15, 16 months. And the first time, I talked with you when we met, I said, I wanted to be a speaker. And so you gave me some things to think about throughout, that year and a half. And I actually gave them to the audience. And so you said, yes, you can, right? I give permission because you are able, and let's find a way. And so
That's powerful.
that talk on permission has been really the foundation. Thank you, Shekita. Has been the foundation of my thinking, my mindset, my thinking for 15 months, 16 months, and moving forward, because I now have a transition. My mind thinks differently. I think differently. I am a different person than I was before I met you, and of course, all of you, and before I was on the stage. And so that was kind of a transforming moment for my life, just for me to step up there and say, yes, I can.
But next time you actually have to
Yes,
get
I
on the
did.
stage. Next time you have to act, you have to, ascend to the 3-foot high throne of yes, you can.
Well, I did.
I love that. It was so powerful. Me and Brandon was sitting there trying to figure out why Mitch didn't give us permission. That was
I had to steal mine.
right. You didn't get it.
I had to absolutely take mine. He was like, no, you
No.
can't. Because I don't want you to. And that's that.
I
what I
think
got.
Brandon, if you would have begged, he would have.
It's like, wow, I want Mitch to give us permission.
Hey, maybe if we keep working real hard, Shekita, maybe next time around. I don't know. He's an intense and a genius motivator, Mitch.
We're
so
emerging.
He knows what we needed. Like we needed to be denied, so we'd work harder. All Keith needed was permission.
I already told you it's not the same for everyone. Come on now.
Yeah, we had to. He's trying to keep us from getting cocky. That's what that is.
I mean, when you wear pink 4-inch high heels, I mean, how much more confidence do you need? Like she walked up there like it was hers, and it was, by the way, it was hers.
I needed permission to tone down the colors.
No. I don't want you to tone down. That was amazing.
Keith, so I can make as big an impact on your life, I give you, Keith, permission to wear 4-inch pink high heels. Because you can, and because you should, for my enjoyment.
There's something to be said there, only because I know a guy that I met about 2 years ago through all my conversations that I've had, and he wears pink.
Cool.
Now I've got to find him all over again because we're having this conversation.
I love pink. Pink is amazing.
He wears it all the time. It's his statement.
Awesome.
And he's a speaker.
Love it.
It's awesome.
It is awesome.
I just imagine how uncomfortable you would be individually in pink high heels, and that tickles me. So
Okay.
It's not that wearing pink high heels would be wrong or bad.
It's only because you know me, Brandon. I would fall flat on my face.
You would be fierce, is what you would be. Let's start there, and it would be fantastic. But back to the event, you never know what's going to happen when you get this group of personalities together.
Yes.
Ain't that the truth?
We had lunch after that should have been. We probably would have, and I think anybody who was at that event got their money's worth, their time's worth, tenfold. I think if a room full of people would just come and watch us have lunch, I think we could have charged double, because the lunch itself was all the value and the good feelings and the smart brains, but cut loose a little bit, and it was hilarious and fun.
Well, that'll be our next event. We're just going to have lunch and invite others to watch.
There you go, leaders luncheon. We'll call it like a lunch thing, and then they get there and they're just in an audience, and we just have a long table where we're sitting
We're eating.
facing the audience, Last Supper style.
I mean, don't they
Go ahead.
don't they technically do that with all the hot wing? Like there's a hot wing video where the guy famous
Yeah.
people that eat hot. Yeah. So I mean,
The
it's
hot
not like
ones.
it's not like it's far fetched. I like it.
It can be a trend.
Yeah.
All right.
Any final words for maybe a next time or what's coming up, or final thoughts about what we did? Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Pressure on final.
Who's
Let's
that to, boss?
Everybody.
I'll go first since I never go first. I'll
There
go
you go.
first this
Thank
is a historic moment, and I'll make it succinct as well. Keith, what I want to say is to you, I know, because you and I've had conversations for a long time. This was literally a dream come true for you, and regardless of our expectation or things we would do again, at the sheer foundation of taking action and bringing some really great people together and getting some people to come take part in this event. Thank you. Good job, and congrats on doing something you set out to do, because many people don't. So that's my final thoughts.
Thank you.
I almost want to clap for that one. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I don't even want to come behind that one. You can go, Brandon.
All right, that's fine. I can top that. Keith, meeting you a handful. I think I met Mitch first.
Yes.
Did his podcast.
Yep.
And then that led to, he didn't like me, so he introduced me to you, Keith.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then I got lucky and met you, Shekita, because of this event. And really, the way it developed over months, having the opportunity to meet the four of you and then spend some real time face to face was the most impactful part of it for me. Was on the personal side of just meeting really genuinely cool, smart, and caring people. So I loved my time there. Look forward to the next one. Rate depending. And otherwise, I really felt very grateful to know you all, let alone to be able to be in the same room with you.
Cool.
Okay, maybe I should have went after Mitch.
Maybe you should go
first. Double to the trouble here, but I really appreciate meeting you guys. I'm gonna have to figure out what color, a bright color, I'm gonna wear next time. But I look forward to whatever is in the cards for how we are going to impact future leaders in this life. So, and I love the fact that we're all different. We bring such great energy, guaranteed to get a laugh. We're guaranteed for Keith to try to rear us back on course. And
it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
So I love it. And I just look forward to everything that we are going to do with all of our creativity and all of our insight. So I'm looking forward to it. You guys are stuck with me from this point on. So, hey, it's going to be what it's going to be.
Well, I appreciate that, everybody. This has been another edition of the Question Guy podcast, and we'll see you next time. Take care.